Thanks very much, Londe Khadebe, our reporter on that story. Let's take you to this now. The Goethe Library Jams returns this December once again, and this time with a 3-episode weekend event featuring Kujenga, Vivacious Voices under the guidance of Yonela Mnana and The Brother Moves On. The 2-day celebration will host some of the country's most gifted artists in front of a select audience. To share more on the event, we're joined by the series coordinator Bongani Njalo and jazz musician Yonela Mnana. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Bongani, perhaps just speak to us about the Library Jams and the inspiration behind it.
So Library Jams is a project of the Goethe Institute. We invest in local artists, specifically musicians, which we host in our library, and that is with the intention of stimulating cultural and musical exchange and activity in the country. And we've had artists such as Zoe Modiga, Bongezi Mabandla in our library. But with this session, because the Brother Moves On celebrates 10 years since the release of their first album, we wanted to expand it a little bit and rethink how we frame library jams and extend it to the broader community and not just at the Goethe Institute. So it will be hosted at the Market Photo Workshop, which is a photography school within the Johannesburg City District. And we've invited artists such as Yonela, we've invited Vivacious Voices and a young band named Kujenga, which will also be part of the series, which is a 2-episode actually session. So on the 1st of December we'll have Yonela as well as Vivacious Voices, and then on the 2nd of December we'll have Kujenga and The Brother Moves On. Unfortunately, I must also announce that Yonela's show has been sold out, and we have very limited tickets for The Brother Moves On the 2nd of December.
Yeah, take us through the selection criteria for some of the artists that you featured.
Well, we approach artists that are making waves in the scene locally, and with the intention of then promoting them to the international scene.
And Yonela, maybe speak to us about composing songs in Sepedi as well as isiXhosa.
Well, that's who we are, you know.
Yeah.
I think the myth has been the fact that our idea of musicianship is to be something other than who we are. And what we're trying to do is really to try and revert to our identity. I think before we should really be complaining about getting back the land, we need to get our identity back first. And our music is the best vehicle for us to really try and find our future through our history. And the only way is to compose, not just in our language, but also in the sounds and smells of our own people. And I think it's amazing, in fact, because those things are much more accessible than the kinds of sounds that we're trying to mimic from abroad, which is actually a fallacy by itself. So it's much more easy, actually. It's not really a travesty for us to find ourselves through our indigenous sounds and through our languages that are essentially our mother tongues.
Yeah, and take me through the experience of working with Vivacious Voices. How was that?
Oh, that's my whole life, in fact. I had found for myself, music is always, in fact, according to the colonial and commercial ideas, it was always centered around, the making, of a hero. It has always centered itself around making one person, a center of attention. And what happens with Vivacious Sounds is the fact that it is much more of a communal exercise where we're not just, we're not just teaching, a choir. We really building nation, a whole nation, and it has taught me how to compose and how to understand people. But I think most of all, it has taught me to learn really than teach from my community. And I found that with them, I've stopped becoming their teacher and have become more of their brothers and father, you know.
Yeah. So Bongani, how many people would the artists be performing in front of? Because I remember a select audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've only made available seating for about 30 people. And then on the second night, it's the same. Unfortunately, the tickets are selling incredibly fast, but we have reserved 2 tickets, which we'll be giving away on our social media pages this week. So it's crucial that if you want to be part of the audience that you follow us on our social media pages as the Goethe Institute.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. That is, of course, Bongani Njalo, series coordinator, and Yonela Mnana, jazz musician. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, of course, 3 artists will be performing in front of a select audience at the Goethe Institute's library, while their performances are recorded and then later released in a video series.